everyone. Today we're going to be talking about stage more specifically, and we're going to be talking about if you're ready to actually feel your physical impulses and your instinct so you can move freely and you can, in general, be more free on stage. And oftentimes you might find yourself really stuck in a direction more so than in a movie, more so than in, in an audition when you're on film, because stage has a lot of direction. There's a lot of people working with you. It seems like oftentimes I hear actors say, well, it's not what the director wants, and the director's with you all the time, and there's so many rehearsals that you may find yourself locked into an idea of what the character is and how it must fit everyone. And you may also find yourself really under the authority of the director. And with all the rehearsal that you're going to do, all the layers of rehearsal, it feels like you're locked into a specific way of doing the character, and therefore you're not feeling your impulses anymore, you're not feeling your instinct, and you end up kind of giving a stale, kind of cold, closed up performance, right? And when you do that, you feel frustrated and you don't feel alive in the moment. You're not really enjoying your performance. And that's really a shame, because of course in theater you're investing way more time, way more energy than you do in film. You're spending a lot more time before and a lot of time during. So it's a huge investment on your part. And usually there's not that big of a compensation. So the amount of energy, time, and in a way financial investment that you sacrifice to be in a play, and then if you can't really be yourself, if you can't be instinctive, if you can't be impulsive, if you can't be free, then it really feels really like a sticky formula, because you're giving so much of yourself and you're actually not fulfilled when you're giving your performance, right? Because you feel like you have to fit what's been rehearsed, what the director's expecting of you, what the writing is expecting of you. And so it's a bitter math formula at the end of the day. You invest so much and you're not getting that freedom. You're not getting that capacity to really be instinctive, go for your impulses in the moment, because you feel like it's been decided, it's locked, and that's it. And you may have tried different things to address that problem. And I know a lot of you have that problem, because a lot of actors talk about how it's different on stage and how they feel that they can't really do this, find the same freedom that they find in film as on stage. So that's really what I want to address today. So you may have found yourself trying, to have very strong propositions and to present them to the director, even if they diverge a little bit from the idea of what the character should be. You may have found that, and then you enter in conflict with the director, and it seems to be like a lot of friction. And then you feel like you need to abandon. So in a way, you work on yourself even more. You make a huge proposition. You're really excited about it, and then you show up, and it's in a way it's censored. And so it feels very dramatic and very annoying that you've been putting so much, and it's not really honored. There might also be some friction with the other actors, right? You may be feeling like, oh, now I need to respect what we've rehearsed, because if I somehow follow my physical impulses or instinct, then the other actors are not okay with that, and they're really wanting me to do what we rehearsed, and on their turn they're not giving me much life, so I feel stuck by them too. So it's a very gooey place to be in. It's unsatisfying. No matter how hard you work on that, it's really difficult to get out of it. So all in all, it's difficult, horrible situation, and it's costing a lot on your energy. And I want to make a point about this because of the investment you put in time in rehearsal and in performance. When things don't go well and you put so much in and it lasts for so long, it starts impacting you, right? Because you're stressed all the time in a place where you would want to be completely fulfilled. So there's a lot of tension inside of you. So it can have repercussions on your health, on your relationships, inevitably on your acting, and on the future results you'll have in acting, because people see you in your performance and you're not totally breathtaking because you're actually repressing all of your impulses. So the cost is really huge. The cost is huge on you, it's huge on your artist, it's huge on your future results. It's huge on your health. It's huge if you're not well. It has an impact on your relationships, on your energy levels. It's a terrible situation to be in, if you ask me, right? So what you do want, though, and what is possible, is for you to really every single night feel completely you, feel completely impulsive, to just feel something and go for it because you're alive, because you want to do it in the moment, because your character is driving the piece and you're just going for it, and it enhances everyone, and the director gets what they want, and you manage to discuss things in a very constructive way. So that is possible. It's possible for you to actually really, really enjoy the stage in the rehearsal process, building things together, and in the performance, and to really have that opportunity to rediscover the moment every single day, to be present at every single performance, is actually really the multiple orgasm that you can find on stage, right? And again, you're usually finding the opposite because you have to repeat things that don't really work for you, that prevent you from really being there. And it's just like, it feels like you're locked in a cage. There's no way out of that solution. So what I want to do today is actually look at the real root of this situation, which is not the fact that you're on stage and that there's rehearsals and a director and an idea of how it should go. What's actually happening is that you have such a vulnerable connection to your instinct and your physical impulses that as soon as there's a little bit of pressure around, in this case, you have an impulse and an idea, and you might discuss it with the director, and the director might say, no, let's go this direction. It's so vulnerable that you might not persist, that you might not be able to be constructive with the director, to negotiate, to explore with them, and to show them. What happens is as soon as you have a little bit of feedback from the director, you shrink. Right? It's like punishment. It's wrong. They don't want me. They're the authority. I'm just the actor. And you close up. And when that happens, nothing is possible for you. Nothing is possible for the play. And actually, the director won't have an alive material in your instrument. He'll just have a puppet that does what he wants, which is far less than what he could get. Right? So what's happening is that because your conditioning has taught you to listen, has taught you to do things right, do things well, be a good actor, fit, do not make mistakes, don't be different, like everyone should be the same. That's all the education we get. And authority is always coming from an external place. And we have all accepted that there's authority in our lives from the school time and even in the family. And when we don't accept authority, we get blamed, we get punished, we get shamed. And so we don't want to go there. So what you do when you're on stage and when there's that rapport with the director and the rehearsal that's supposed to get the piece right, well, you automatically start to close, and therefore you don't have access to your instrument, right? Because that conditioning is like, if this is your instinct and your physical impulses, conditioning is like the resistance that sits on top. This on top of your instinct and your physical impulses is what you grew up as. This became really, really strong. So whenever you are auditioning on stage and on film, but more so on stage, this is the muscle that's going to be strong. Your capacity to react, to adapt, to listen, to submit, to do what you're told. But that's not what people are looking for in an actor, in an artist. They're looking for you to have the life and flowing through you, to be impulsive, to be instinctive, and to be able to integrate the direction of the director. But you're never putting yourself in that zone of being able to listen and remain alive because you've been wired to do the opposite. You've been wired to shut it down, listen to what you're told, and just do and repeat, right? And so the work to do is for you to actually work through this conditioning and resistance so that you can access those beautiful instinct and impulses, and so that they don't need to hide as soon as they're oppressed or challenged or discussed. So the work we do in our community is really to work through the resistance first, to unlearn all the conditioning that will directly make you be like a good little soldier, good little listener, people pleaser, so that you can recover your sense of self And then we start reconnecting you with your instinct, your real instinct and impulses that you haven't used in decades, that you sometimes enjoy when the best conditions are there and you feel super safe and there's no pressure. You sometimes magically enjoy a little sense of freedom, but you have no idea how to go back there because, again, this sense of freedom and instinct is sitting under, right? It's under the resistance. So the work we do is to undo that resistance and conditioning and to wake up this instinct that's been hiding in the dark, that's been sleeping, that's never being used, and that therefore you do not have access to, especially not if you and the director are having diverging opinions. It's going to be extremely difficult for you to be able to sit down and still be constructive and fight for your character and actually really stand in your position and show and invite the director to see the opportunity. So what happens now is you may have a little bit of impulses, but as soon as the director starts speaking, boom, you back down, and then he takes over and you just listen. And you can get to a place where you work through your resistance and you wake up your instinct to actually come there at an equal playing field. Yeah, is that the expression? I forgot. So when you're on the same playing field, you're collaborating. This is now teamwork. You're exchanging ideas. It's not about who's right or wrong and who has the authority. It's about he needs to have the vision for the whole play and you need to defend your character. And you'll be able to do that when you've removed that conditioning that automatically, like a little robot, makes you submit as soon as there's authority, right? When you're on the same level, you'll be able to discuss constructively, not to fight or who's strong or they didn't like what I said, but to just stay in the game and listen to what they say and put your arguments, not arguments in the sense of fight, but put your opinions in front of them and just massage them together because it is a collaborative effort. It's not one person leads and everybody just shuts up and follows. Because then again, we have a bunch of puppets and you're not a puppet, you're a human being and you do have impulses and you do have an instinct. And if you do not follow them, you're not doing the best job for you, for the play, for the director, or for the audience, right? So if this makes sense and if you've been feeling the cost of not being able to actually be yourself and follow your physical impulses and your instinct on stage, I urge you to check out the work we do. You can DM us and we can send you some information. We have a wait list right now, so you can sign up on the wait list, but I would suggest that the first thing you want to do, if this makes sense and you're done with, all the costs that it's creating for you and you want that freedom and that collaboration again, then make sure you DM us so we can start sending you some information and connecting with you to see if you're right for this type of work. Okay. Bye guys, see you soon.